GRIAS Academy.
100 days, 100 themes, one goal, UPSC Prelims. Hello all, welcome back to the program Mission Surya Phase 3, a STEM revision program where we deal with current affairs regarding science and technology and environment completely in Prelims perspective. So let's get started with our today's session. In our today's session, we basically we started the revision of this science and technology and environmental related concepts, right, from the past 2 days. So we will conclude it for today, we will revise the rest over topics of the environment because we have done with science and technology till the yesterday part. So for today, we will complete the remaining environmental topics. We have seen few acts of environment in the previous class. Now in this session, we will see the remaining leftover protocols and international agreements of the environment. Okay, so now let's get started. For today, we will see the first one is, see, the International Environmental Conventions and Protocol. International Environmental Conventions and Protocols. In that, the first one is the Rio Earth Summit and its offsprings, 1992. Okay, when it has come, the Rio Earth Summit is 1992. See, the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, that is UNCED, held in Rio, a place in Brazil. Rio de Janeiro is a place in Brazil where this Rio summit has happened. Which year? 1992, marking the 20th anniversary of the 1972 Stockholm Conference. Okay, so it yielded the following critical documents or frameworks. Okay, now let's see, the summit also gave rise to 3 more conventions, like 3 more legally binding Rio conventions. What are they? The first one is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Basically we will be hearing it as UNFCCC. What is the full form of UNFCCC? United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Basically for these conventions and protocols, remember the adoption date and the enforcement date, so that in examination it will be easy, because in examinations the examiner might ask you the enforcement dates and adoption dates in statement manner, or else in the match the following also. So have a clear picture about it. See, this UNFCCC, when this UNFCCC is adopted, it is adopted in 1992 in the Rio Convention. Okay, but when this got enforced into the system, it is enforced on 1994. Okay, now there are 2 major protocols in the agreements of UNFCCC, and that the first one is the Kyoto Protocol. Okay, which is adopted in the year 1997 and got enforced in the year 2005. Okay, now what this Kyoto Protocol says is that it legally binds the developed countries to emission reduction targets, acknowledging their historical responsibility. Okay, common but differentiated responsibilities. In that, protection of the ozone layer, which under which it is Vienna Convention. When it is got adopted, in the year 1985 and enforced in the year 1988. Okay, so for the protection of the ozone layer, this Vienna Convention has come up, which is adopted in the year 1985 and got enforced in the year 1988. What is this? This is a framework convention for the protection of ozone layer. Okay, but it does not include any legal binding reduction goals. Okay, next, moving on. The next one is Paris Agreement COP21. Which is adopted in the year 2015. Okay, this is the replacement for the Kyoto Protocol of the previous one. The replacement agreement is what? Paris Agreement. Okay, what is the goal of it? The goal of it is limited global temperature increase, limit the global temperature increase to well below 2 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels and aiming for 1.5 degrees centigrade. Okay, now the next one is, this is the second one under the this Rio Convention. Under the Rio Convention, we said that on 3 major legal binding conventions has come up, right? The first one is UNFCCC and the second one is the Convention on Biological Diversity. When is this got adopted? This got adopted in the year 1992 and it got enforced in the year 1993. Okay, this is completely for the biodiversity management. See, what is the objective of it is conservation of biological diversity and equitable shares of benefits, equitable sharing of benefits. And the third one under the Rio Convention is the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCD. When was this adopted? Adopted in the year 1994 and came into enforcement in 1996. Okay, what is the core objective of this UNCCD is it combats the desertification. It combats the desertification and mitigation that effects of droughts. It is the sole legally binding international agreement. This is the sole legally binding international agreement linking environment and development to sustainable land management. Okay, next. This is about the Rio Conventions and the three agreements which are come up from the Rio Convention. Okay, next. Coming to the next topic is Montreal Protocol 1987. Montreal Protocol, which is enforced, came adopted in the year 1987 and came into the enforced on 1989. What is it? This protocol is under the Vienna Convention. This Montreal Protocol is under Vienna Convention aimed at phasing out ozone depleting substances. Ozone depleting, it is aimed to phase out the ozone depleting substances like chlorofluorocarbons, hydrofluorocarbons and all. Okay, so it is one of the most highly successful environmental treaties in the history. Okay, next. The next is Kigali Amendment. Kigali Amendment, which was amended on 2016 and came into enforcement on 2019. Okay, what is it? It is an amendment to the Montreal Protocol. It is this Kigali Amendment is the amendment of the Montreal Protocol to phase down hydrofluorocarbons. In Montreal Protocol, chlorofluorocarbons are targeted, but in Montreal Protocol, the hydrofluorocarbons are targeted. Okay, so HFCs are not ODS, but ozone depleting substances, but they are potent greenhouse gas. These hydrofluorocarbons are not the particles of ozone depleting substances, but it causes the greenhouse gases. Okay, next. For this is about the all what you call regarding the climate change, climate and all, right? Now we will see the conservation of flora, fauna and wetlands. When we talk about wetlands, the first name which come into our mind is the Ramsar Convention, right? Ramsar Convention, which is adopted in the year 1971 and came into force in 1975. What is this Ramsar Convention is of? Where it is signed? It is signed in a place called Ramsar in Iran. Okay. It is an international treaty for conservation of wetlands, conservation and wise use of wetlands. Okay, this is about Ramsar Convention. I am not going into detailed description because we have already spoke about this conventions and all in a very detailed manner. So I am giving you a rough picture for a revision. Okay, next. Next is CITES. CITES, when this is adopted, it is adopted in the year 1963 and got enforced in the year 1975. What is this CITES? It is Convention on International Trade. Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Okay, which ensures what? That ensures that international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants does not threaten their survival. Okay, next. The next one is Bonn Convention. Bonn Convention, it is adopted in the year 1979 and enforced in the year 1983. What is this? It is for Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of wild animals. Okay, this is about the Bonn Convention. Next, Moving on, that is about the wetlands, flora and fauna, right? And the next sector of the acts, I mean conventions, is hazardous chemicals and waste management. Hazardous chemicals and waste management. In this regard, remember the Basel Rotterdam Convention. Remember the Basel Rotterdam Convention, that the Stockholm Convention and all, which is the trio for the prelims. Basel, Rotterdam and Stockholm. This trio is important. Okay. Next, coming to the Basel Convention. When is this adopted? It is adopted in the year 1989 and got enforced in the year 1992. Okay, which controls what? It controls the transboundary movements of hazardous waste and their disposal. Okay. Next, this Rotterdam Convention, it is adopted in the year 1998 and got enforced in the year 2004. Remember friends, it is very important to remember this adoption and enforcement dates very much, because it is very useful for prelims. Okay, see. What it does, this Rotterdam Convention, it promotes shared responsibility via the prior informed consent procedure for certain hazardous chemicals and pesticides in international trade. During the international trade of any hazardous chemicals and pesticides, prior information is required, which is mentioned under the Rotterdam Convention 1998. Okay. Next is the Stockholm Convention. Stockholm Convention, when it got adopted in the year 2001 and got enforced in the year 2004. What it does, it aims to eliminate or restrict the production and use of persistent organic pollutants. This is about the Stockholm Convention. Okay, next is Minamata Convention, which is adopted in the year 2013 and got enforced in the year 2017. What is this Minamata Convention? Convention is of intent to protect human health and the environment from the adverse effect of the mercury. For a single mercury chemical, this convention is adopted because mercury is very dangerous, right? So, to protect the human health and the environment from the adverse effects of the mercury, this Minamata Convention was adopted in the year 2013 and which came into enforcement on 2017. Okay, next, these are about the few conventions and few conventions and acts which are come up for the flora, fauna, wetlands, for energy and all. Okay. Next, moving on to ethanol blending program. This is a path from E20 to E100. Basically, India is coming up with non-fossil fuel. India wanted to shift from fossil fuel, petroleum, diesel and all to the non-fossil fuel substances, because due to the carbon emissions or from the greenhouse gases emissions from the vehicular pollution and all, the climate is getting damaged. So, to prevent this climate and all, the government of India has come up with the ethanol concept, which is very much lesser when comparative to the normal greenhouse gases. It releases petrol and diesel, it releases very few amount. It might or might not be releasing this carbon dioxide. Mostly it doesn't release any carbon dioxide through emissions. Okay, but by using petrol and diesel, what happening? This carbon dioxide emissions are happening much and the environment is being affected. To recover our environment, the government of India has come up with the ethanol blending program in the petrol. In the sense, the 10% of ethanol has to be blended in the 90% of petrol. In the same way, the vehicles also designed by India. Normal our basic engines are BS6, right? BS6 engines. Rather than these engines can only work on petrol and diesel with the fossil fuel substances. But adding ethanol to it, the engine has to also work, right? It shouldn't reduce the mileage and also keeping in mind all these circumstances and all, the government of India and the initiatives has come up to develop these vehicles as well as this ethanol blending program. Okay. to avoid this petrol and all, because as we know, because of this Strait of Hormuz effect and all, we are very in scarcity of this crude oil and all, and we are very much import dependency on this petrol, crude oil and diesels. So to reduce this import dependency also, the government of India has coming up with the indigenously developed non-fossil fuel substances like bioethanol and all. Okay, let's see. So do remember few key points about this ethanol blending. It might be asked because this Strait of Hormuz, this West Asian countries war and all is being very much in news, right? So in regarding to that, it may ask few questions. Okay, see. Evaluation of blending targets from E10 to E20, E85 and E100. What is E10? E10 is basically nothing but the blending of the 10% of ethanol in the 90% of petrol. In the same way, E20 is blending of 20% of ethanol in the 80% of petrol. Okay. In the same way, E85, 85% of ethanol with the remaining percentage of the petrol, and E100 is the main target where 100% ethanol, not using any petrol based non-fossil fuel substances, by using only renewable and non-fossil fuel substances like ethanol and all, we have to run our vehicles. This is the main aim of India, so that we will reduce the carbon dioxide emissions into our environment. Okay, see. The ethanol blending program was initially launched in which year? 2023, with a target of 5%, not even 10% of ethanol, it is 5% of target. Over the years, the target and the technologies have been evolved significantly. Okay. Now, moving on, let's see. See this, E10. E10 is the 10% ethanol. This target is achieved in 2002. By 2002 itself, this E10 target has been achieved ahead of the schedule. Okay, so the standard ICE, internal combustion engine vehicles, that is the basic BS6 engines vehicles, can generally handle the E10, E10 without changing any major modifications in the vehicles. Okay, the next is E20 ethanol. E20 ethanol is this target was originally set for 2030. Okay, but it is already achieved by 2025 and 2026 financial year. Okay, this target is also achieved, means the 20% of ethanol using is also achieved by 2025 and 2026. So India successfully achieved the E20 milestone in early 2025. From April 2025, all Bharat 6 vehicles must meet E20 emission standards. Okay, next is E85 to E100. This is 85% to 100%, that is pure ethanol, which is used as a fuel source for vehicles. Okay, which is moving beyond E20 requires shifting away from standard engines. Now this E85 or E100 requires the modified or high-end engines, so that the normal basic engines which we are used for E20 and E10 doesn't work for this E85 and E100. Okay, so the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, remember the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways is evaluating pure ethanol under the Central Motor Vehicle Rules. Okay. Now, let's see few schemes and initiatives and objectives for this. Okay, the first one is Global Biofuel Alliance. The first initiative is Global Biofuel Alliance, which is taken up by the government of India. What is the key objective of it is? It is launched during India's G20 presidency. An international alliance of major producers or consumers, example USA, Brazil and India. Okay, to what? To accelerate global biofuel adoption, to establish the standards and facilitate technology transfer. This is the initiative. What is that initiative is? Global Biofuel Alliance. Next is PMJI-1 Yojana, which is completely the indigenous government of India initiative, which provides the financial support to integrated bioethanol projects using what? Lignocellulose biomass, using the lignocellulose biomass and other renewable feedstocks to boost the 2G ethanol production. Okay, second generation ethanol production. The next is STAT scheme. What is this STAT scheme? It promotes compressed biogas. Compressed biogas as an alternative for green transport fuels. Basically, we are using CNGs, right? So, in place of CNG is also giving us the carbon dioxide emissions. In place of CNGs, we are coming up with carbon compressed biogas. Okay, CBG. That is about the STAT scheme. Next is RUCO initiative. RUCO initiative. What is this initiative is of? To repurpose used cooking oil. To repurpose the used cooking oil focuses on collecting and converting used cooking oil into biodiesel. Okay, so used cooking oil into biodiesel. Remember the keywords so that you can mark it very easily in the examination if any question is asked from these initiatives. Okay, next, this is about the ethanol, bioethanol and all. Coming to the electric vehicles in India and IEMI report. Basically in India, the government of India is also promoting to have the electric vehicles instead of this fuel based vehicles, right? So Niti Aayog in partnership with the World Resource Institute India has published the report which is unlocking a $200 billion opportunity. $200 billion opportunity for what? Electric vehicles in India. Okay. Now, what is this IEMI report? That is India Electric Mobility Index. India Electric Mobility Index, which is launched alongside the report. Okay. So, it is the first ever tool. It is the first ever tool and benchmark that the e-mobility progress of Indian states. Okay. Next, what is this IEMI states grouping in this report? States are categorized into four tiers based on their scores. Based on their scores, these states are categorized into 4 tiers. How? If the states have 100 score, if the states have 100 score, they are called as achievers. They are categorized as achievers. If the state has 65 to 99 of score, then they are called front runners. They are categorized into front runners. And if the state falls under the score of 50 to 64, they are categorized in the class of tier of performers. And the last, which have the score of 0 to 49, they are categorized under aspirants. Okay. This is what you have to remember, because the score you have to remember, and what is the name. The first one is achievers, the second is front runners, the third one is performers, and the fourth one is aspirants. Okay. Next, coming to the 2024 top rankings of IEMI report is Delhi topped the index. Delhi topped the index with the score of 77, which is followed by then Maharashtra and then Chandigarh and Karnataka. Maharashtra with 68 score. Okay. What is the first one? The first state is Delhi, follows Maharashtra. Next comes Maharashtra. Then comes the Chandigarh and Karnataka. Okay. Remember, when it is given, this report is given in 2024. This is the latest report till now. Okay. Next, e-mobility status in 2024. What is the e-mobility status in 2024? Is the electronic vehicle sales surged to 2.08 million. 2.08 million, which is up from just 50,000 in 2016. In 2016, the EV vehicle sale is just 50,000. But by the year 2024, the electronic vehicle sales surged to how much? 2.08 million. Means even we are in a concern of, in Delhi, basically why Delhi has stopped in it is because of the Delhi pollution. We imagine the pollution there, even during summers and all, the people used to wear masks. Due to this pollution, the temperatures are very fluctuating there in Delhi. Okay. So everyone use car in Delhi basically. So how much of this chlorofluorocarbons or hydrofluorocarbons which are released from the houses, from the refrigerators, from the what you call the ACs and all, how much it is affecting the environment there in Delhi. So That's why the Delhi is being going towards the using electric vehicles rather than the petrol vehicles. Okay. Now, current EV penetration stands at 7.6%, which is significantly short of India, and ambitious 30% target for 2030. Okay. Next, this is about the electric vehicles. Next, we'll see few domains and relevant institutes in news. Few domains which we will see it basically, like ISRO, DRDO, UNFCC. Basically, when we go through the newspaper and all, we'll come across few institutions and all, right? Few domains and all. So we'll see what are those. We'll not go into the detail. We'll see where is the headquarters and when they got established. Okay. The first one is Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. Indian Space Research Organization, established in the year 1962 and headquartered in Bengaluru. Okay. The next is Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, which is established in the year 1958, but source material some mention it as 1942, but initially it is established in the year 1958. This is the formal establishment. Where it is headquartered? The DRDO is headquartered in New Delhi. Next is National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, established in the year 1998 and headquartered in the Goa. Okay. Next, that is regarding, those three are regarding the space. Now next, the Nuclear and Energy Vanguard. Nuclear and Energy Vanguard. This is managed primarily under the Department of Atomic Energy. Those three domains which we have seen is for the space and technology. Now the remaining one are, the second is the Nuclear and Energy Vanguard, based on the atomic energy. Okay. Department of Atomic Energy. These institutes focus on the peaceful and strategic applications of nuclear science. Okay. So these comes under the nuclear science sector. The previous ISRO, DRDO all comes under the space sector. Okay. In that, the first one is Baba Atomic Research Center. Baba Atomic Research Center, which is established in the year 1954 and headquartered in Mumbai. Okay. Next, the next is Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, established in the year 1971 in a place called Kalapakam, Tamil Nadu. Okay. Next, Institute for Plasma Research. Institute for Plasma Research, which is established in the year 1986 and which is located in the place called Ahmedabad. Okay. Next, Variable Energy Cyclotron Center. Variable Energy Cyclotron Center, which is established in the year 1977 in a place called Kolkata. Okay. Next, these are few domains in the nuclear science sector. The next, one more thing in this same nuclear sciences, Raja Ramana Center for Advanced Technology. Raja Ramana Center for Advanced Technology, established in the year 1984 in a place called, it is situated in Indore. Okay. Indore in Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Next, coming to the next sector, that is industrial, IT and policy frameworks. The few domains are there. We'll see. These bodies bridge the gap between the pure science and the industrial application. Okay. The first one is CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. What is this? When it is established? Established in the year 1972 and is headquartered in New Delhi. Okay. Next is Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC. Okay. Established in the year 1988 and headquartered in Pune. Next is Anusandhan National Research Foundation. Anusandhan National Research Foundation, which is established in the year 2023 and headquartered in Delhi. Next, Institute of Nanoscience and Technology. Institute of Nanoscience and Technology, which is established in the year 2013 and which is located in Mohali. Okay. Next, it is very important to remember in which sector which domains are coming. In space sector, what are the domains? In nuclear science, what are the domains? In information technology and research, what are the domains? You have to remember, and remember the establishment dates when they are established, and the headquarters also you have to know. Okay, these are very premier facts for your UPSC prelims examination. Okay, next. The next is Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research. Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research. I hope we have seen this, right? Yeah, we have seen all these three in the nuclear science. Okay, now coming to the life sciences sector. Life sciences sector, the first which is for medicine, biology and agriculture. The first is Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, which is established in the year 1911 and which is headquartered in the New Delhi. Okay, next. The next is ICAR, specifically for agriculture, okay, which is established in the year 1929 and headquartered in New Delhi. Basically most of the domains are headquartered in New Delhi. Only few don't have the headquarters. Few major institutions have, few major domains have the headquarters. So do revise it properly. Next is CCMB, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, which is present in Hyderabad, okay, established in the year 1977. The next is National Institute of Biomedical Genomics, National Institute for Biomedical Genomics, which is established in the year 2009 in a place called Kalyani in West Bengal. Next is Fundamental Science and Academic Excellence. These are the sectors in agriculture, medicine and biology, that is life sciences sector. And the next sector is Fundamental Science and Academic Excellence, okay. This institutes basically focuses on the blue sky, means the research and the theoretical foundations of science, okay. And that the first one is IISE, Indian Institute of Science, established in the year 1909 in a place which is located in Bangalore, okay. Next is Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR, which is established in the year 1945 and headquartered in Mumbai, okay. Next is Inter-University of for Astronomy and Astrophysics. For Astronomy and Astrophysics also we have a university which is established in the year 1988 in a place called Pune, okay. Next, the Harish Chandra Research Institute, Harish Chandra Research Institute, which is established in the year 1975 in a place called Prayagraj, okay. We'll have a tabular format. Basically seeing this tabular formats only we can remember it very fast comparatively by reading what is this, when it is established, what is the headquarter of this and all. So we'll see few important organizations and we'll see core function of it and when it is, what is the parent ministry of it also, okay. Now coming to the first one, that is ISRO, okay. And parent ministry is also very much important because few they come under the Ministry of Forest, I mean the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and all, but we'll be getting confused if they ask. The thing is, it is regarding forest only. If it is regarding the forest, we'll see it comes under the Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change, but no, few comes under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, okay. So parent ministry is also very important. Next, coming to ISRO, the first one is ISRO. The core focus is the space exploration and the parent ministry is the Department of Space. Next is DRDO. DRDO is basically for defense technology and the parent ministry is Ministry of Defense. Next is CSIR. CSIR is for Industrial Research and Development and comes under the Ministry of Science and Technology. Next is ICAR. It is for Agriculture and Farming and comes under the Ministry of Agriculture. Next, ICMR, completely for Health and Medicine, comes under the Ministry of Health. Next is CDAC. CDAC, which is for Supercomputing and AI, which comes under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Next, ANRF. ANRF is for Research Funding. So it comes under the Ministry of Science and Technology. Okay, these are the few important organizations you have to remember, and remember the core focus and the parent ministries of these organizations. Okay, next. Moving forward, let's see if you genetically, this is one tabular format for quickly remember the genetically modified crops and their what are the genes which are introduced to modify these plants and the source organisms and the primary trait or mechanism of those genetically modified crops. Okay, the first one is BT cotton. BT cotton. Okay, No. What is the genes which are introduced for producing this biotechnology produced cotton is Cry1AC and Cry2AB. Okay, these genes have been introduced, and the source organism of taking this genes are Bacillus thuringiensis, which is the soil bacterium. Okay, and what is the primary trait of it? It is used for developing a pest resistant which produce crystal protein toxic to cotton bollworm. Okay, next is Bt brinjal. The genes which are introduced is Cry1AC. Okay, so what is the source enzyme? The same source organism, the same Bacillus thuringiensis, which is the soil bacterium, and this is also the pest resistant, where it can protect against the brinjal fruit and shoot booster. Okay, shoot borer. Next, GM, genetically modified mustard, DMH11. Okay, what are the genes which are introduced in it is Barnes, Barster and Bar. Barnes, Barster and Bar. What are the source organisms of this is Bacillus amyloliquefaciens and Streptococcus hygroscopicus. Okay, next, what is the primary trait of it? The Barnes induces the male sterility, and Barster restores the fertility. Okay, and which are used for hybridization and herbicide tolerance. Okay, next is golden rice global context. Golden rice, which is the global context, and the gene which is introduced is the PSY, that is phytonesynthesis, and CRTL. Okay, from where these genes have been extracted is daffodil or maize, and Erwinia urdivora, which is the bacterium. Okay, and what is the primary trait of it? It is for biofortification. Biofortification means engineered to biosynthesize beta carotene. It is to biosynthesize the beta carotene, a precursor of vitamin A in the edible plants. The last one is flavor saver tomato. Flavor saver tomato, which the genes which is introduced is antisense RNA technology. Using the antisense RNA technology, this flavor saver tomatoes have been developed. Okay, basically what it does is it doesn't get the fruit ripened fast. So in that cases, this antisense RNA technology is used to produce the flavor saver tomato. Okay, so suppress the plant's own gene. It suppresses the plant own gene, and for what it is used? It is for delayed ripening. So suppresses the enzyme responsible for sweetening the fruit, increasing the shelf life. Okay, this is a table for few important genetically modified crops and their genes which are introduced, and the source organism and the primary traits of it. Okay, next, moving on. Next, we will see few regulatory bodies and nodal ministries and key mandates of few institutions. Like the first one is, which is related for the genetically modified crops and plants. The first one is GEAC, Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. For this committee, what is the nodal ministry? Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Okay, what is the key mandate of this GEAC is? It is an apex body or a statutory body under the Environment Protection Act 1986. What it does? It grants the final approval for large scale field trials, okay, and environmental release and commercialization of genetically modified organisms. Okay, next is Review Committee on Genetic Manipulation, which comes under the Ministry of Science and Technology and Department of Biotechnology, and the key mandate of it is research and trials, which monitors safety of ongoing research projects and approves the small scale experimental field trials. Okay, the next is Recombinant DNA Advisory Committee. Recombinant DNA Advisory Committee, which is the Ministry of Science and Technology is the nodal agency of it, and the key mandate of it is advisory role, means it recommends safety regulations and long-term biotechnology policies. Okay, the last one is FSSAI. FSSAI, which is the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. The ministry of it is, the nodal agency is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Okay, it is for the food safety, which regulates the manufacture, storage, distribution, sale and transport of these genetically modified foods for human consumption. Okay, these are few regulatory bodies under the for genetically modified crops and organisms. Okay, and they are their mandates and the nodal agencies. So basically revise these tables. If in exam if you have any answer question regarding this, you can quickly answer whether in the statement format or in the match the following or in the normal direct questions. Okay, next. So that's all for today. I hope we have covered all the topics regarding the science and technology and environment. I am reminding you again and again that science and technology and environment related questions in your UPSC prelims examination is a very key factor. They will play a very major role in the examination. Okay, so revise the topics again and again. There we have no more time left for the examination. So revise the contents, revise the tables which we have given so that it will be helpful for your quick revisions and all. And I hope everything is available in the website. However, we'll provide the link in the description. So do visit our website and download any content which you needed for all these classes in the website directly. Okay. And do follow our Telegram channel and Instagram channel, and do follow, like, subscribe our YouTube channel for more videos of your UPSC prelims preparation. And I'll come up tomorrow with a few important topics for your prelims. I hope everyone liked this session, and I'll see you all tomorrow with another important video. Okay, thank you.